U.S. officials say the Gerald R Ford aircraft carrier strike group has arrived in Latin America amid heightened tensions between the United States and Venezuela. The addition of the world's largest warship to an already massive naval buildup is fueling speculation about the Trump administration's true intentions in the region. Washington says its mission is to stop drug trafficking groups. The United States claims that smugglers have links to Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Maduro denies the accusations and claims that the U.S. military buildup is intended to oust him from power. I'm now joined by Renata Segura. She's the Latin America and Caribbean Program Director with the NGO, the International Crisis Group. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So Donald Trump has repeatedly said that he wants to fight the regional drug mafia, not topple the Venezuelan government. But President Maduro accuses Trump of, quote, fabricating a war. Is Caracas really preparing itself for an invasion?
I mean, Caracas is taking this very seriously. The amount of military might that the U.S. has moved to the Caribbean certainly seems disproportionate for the type of actions that they have taken against the vessels that allegedly are bringing drugs. So Maduro is, with all reason, very worried about this and has mobilized a popular militia to try and face any possible intervention militarily in the country.
As you were saying there, we've seen the United States bring warships, combat aircraft, missiles, and elite troops in the Caribbean, now the world's largest aircraft carrier. How does that play in countries in the region?
Everybody's looking at this with a lot of uncertainty and worry because this is in violation of international law. This signals an interventionist approach that we had not seen in Latin America in a very long time. And everybody is really worried that if today is Venezuela, tomorrow it could be them. At the same time, it's a little bit difficult for the region to stand up and defend Maduro, somebody who stole the elections of last year, who has overseen one of the most serious humanitarian catastrophes in the continent and has repeatedly violated the human rights of its citizens. That doesn't mean, obviously, that by any means the region is supportive overall, although some governments might be allied with Trump. It's not supportive of any military intervention. It's very, very worrisome for the region overall.
Now, in the past, the United States had been accused of riding roughshod over Latin America. So if there would be an invasion, what exactly would that mean for the United States' reputation in the region?
It would be really catastrophic. It would be really turning back decades of cooperation, both on anti-narcotics, but also in other, in trade and other ways in which the U.S. is closely related to the region. The reality, though, is that it seems unlikely that we're going to see boots on the ground. Probably what we're going to be seeing is military attacks from air, which is what the Trump administration seems to favor. Even though the military might is fairly big right now in the Caribbean, we will need many more men than what are mobilized right now. So it seems certainly unlikely that we will be seeing a ground invasion in the short term. But obviously, nothing can be discounted absolutely.
Now, how exactly would you explain the Trump administration's obsessiveness with Venezuela? This can't just be an issue of drug smuggling, can it?
It really is not an issue of drug smuggling. By all means, Venezuela is a country through which drugs come through, but it's not certainly the biggest producer or trafficker of cocaine or fentanyl by any means. This really is closely related with Marcos Rubio's obsession with overthrowing Maduro, which is something that comes really from an ideological stance, something that Trump tried to do during his first term, and that now they see the possibility of getting Maduro out. I think that the way in which they're framing this, which is a fight against narco-terrorism, is really a way to make sure that the MAGA base internally in the U.S. goes with the idea of having a military intervention in a country, which is something that really clashes with what Trump had promised during his campaign. So I think the intentionality behind it is really ideological, but they're framing it around narco-terrorism because they think this is something that will be more palatable for Americans.
All right, that was Renata Segura with the International Crisis Group. Thank you very much for your analysis.
Thank you for having me.